Everyone, please join in the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Davis.
Here.
Councilman McCarthy.
Here.
Councilman Kathy Beck. Here. Councilman Doug Parkhurst.
Here.
Councilman Jared Flutie.
Here. Has everybody had the chance to look at the July 16th agenda? Excuse me. The April 6th agenda. The new one, we gotta approve this new one. Excuse me on the date, but the April 6th agenda,
August?
have you looked at it?
August, you're saying April. I'll move to
Yeah.
approve the August 6th agenda.
I'm having trouble with my days. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on. Approval of the minutes. Has everybody read the July 16th minutes from the last meeting? If so, are there any additions or corrections? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the July 16th meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to approval of the bills. Before we get into approval of the bills, we've got a little bit of stuff that goes along with this. We were hacked at the Rollins National Bank. What we had to do is we had to close our account and start a new account. And we're waiting on checks and everything, so the checks aren't made out for these bills. But what I would like to ask the council to go ahead and approve them tonight with our transmittals. So as soon as the checks come in, we can get them printed and sent out. They gave us 15 checks. The checks are hopefully gonna be here, the new ones by Friday. And if they're not, we only have 15. I want to save them for payroll the following week. And so we can make sure everybody gets paid. We'll reach out to the vendors and tell them if the checks don't come in, their payment's coming, but it'll be a little bit late. I mean, we could request a whole bunch more checks, but the girls would have to sit down and handwrite every one of them. And so I'm just asking for approval to pay the bills tonight. With the council's approval, then I can sign them at a later time. So we'll move on to, are there any questions about that? Karina and the girls can answer.
Questions, of course. Did they identify it soon enough to just put a freeze on the account? Was there just something sketchy, some kind of sketchy behavior that identified?
I went online to check our account out, and on the 30th of July, I caught that there was an ACH bill that was not authorized. And so I got a hold of them. We put a stop payment on it immediately and returned it. And then a couple more tried to come through, so we ended up closing the bank account yesterday.
So we just got a whole new number, start from
Yes.
scratch,
Yes.
transfer all the funds over?
Yes.
Okay. So they didn't think that there was any future risk?
No, not with us shutting it down. If we would have kept it open, since they were using different names and things in different ways, we just decided just to close it down instead of having to stop, pay on all of them and return them.
And we will be able to
Yes.
payroll on time for our
Yes.
folks? Okay,
Yes.
well, thank you for noticing that. Appreciate
Yeah,
your diligence.
created a lot of work for the ladies. Man, they've been working on it all day, plus getting ready for the council meeting. So gonna take a few days. Like Emery said, we just got everything caught up. Everything's looking good. All the audits are done and we get hit with this. So, but we'll come through it. Everything's good. So,
Could be
are there
worse.
any? Go ahead.
Yeah.
It could be way worse.
Oh, yeah.
So it's good that you caught it.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to payment of the bills. We have deposits in the amount of $1,676,429.39. We have accounts payable in the amount of $1,073,000 $7,300, $641.29. Transmittals in the amount of $21,040.31. Payroll in the amount of $44,482.50. Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to go ahead and pay the bills and complete the financial transaction?
I'll make a motion to go ahead and pay the bills.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, correspondence? We have none. Okay, we'll move on to items from the public. It looks like we have Cindy Lewis and Cindy Carnes with the pickleball.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. On behalf of I'm Cindy Luce and this is Cindy Carnes. On behalf of the Good Times Pickleball Association, we're excited to present you with an opportunity of a project that promises to enhance our community and bring us closer together. We're talking about a state-of-the-art pickleball facility. Currently, our residents have access to limited gym slots for pickleball, gym time slots for pickleball, and this new facility will provide a dedicated space to meet the growing demand. We have some preliminary ideas of what this facility should include, and we are seeking your support in granting the necessary land to bring this vision. As you may know, pickleball is a rapidly growing sport. It's a blend of tennis, badminton, and ping pong with a wiffle ball. And it's fun and it's an exciting activity. Its appeal spans all age groups, making it a perfect addition to our community. Here's why investing in a pickleball facility is a strategic and beneficial move for our town. First and foremost, pickleball promotes health and wellness. In an age where sedentary lifestyles are becoming more prevalent, providing our residents with an opportunity to engage in physical activities. Pickleball is not just a sport, it's a fun way to exercise. It can help reduce the risk of chronic diseases, improve cardiovascular health, and enhance mental well-being. It's the low-impact nature of the game makes it accessible to people of all fitness levels, from children to seniors. Secondly, the social benefits of pickleball are immense. The sport fosters a sense of community by bringing people together. It encourages social interaction and builds relationships among residents. Imagine our local families, friends, and neighbors gathering regularly to play, cheer, and bond. Such a facility would become a social hub, enhancing the sense of belongingness and togetherness in our town. Economically, a pickleball facility is a sound investment. The sport's growing popularity means it will attract players from neighboring areas, boosting local tourism. Tournaments and events hosted at our facility will bring in visitors who dine in our restaurants, shop in our stores, and stay in our hotels. The influx of activity can generate significant revenue for our local businesses and increase the town's visibility and reputation. Moreover, the cost of developing and maintaining a pickleball facility is relatively low compared to other sports infrastructures. The courts require minimal space and the equipment costs are affordable. This means we can create a high-quality recreational area without a substantial financial burden. We can explore funding opportunities, including grants, sponsorships, and community fundraising to support this initiative. Lastly, investing in a pickleball facility together demonstrates our commitment to improving the quality of life for our residents. It shows that we prioritize health, wellness, and community engagement. By providing such amenities, we make our town an even more attractive place to work, live, and play. Granting the land for a pickleball facility is an investment in our health, happiness, and prosperity of our town. It's an opportunity to create a space that promotes wellness, fosters community spirit, and boosts our local economy. I urge you to help the Good Times Pickleball Association move forward by granting the necessary land to bring this vision to life. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Cindy. Cindy come to me probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. We discussed this. She's now on the tourism, helping set up the,
I partner with Discover Carbon County. I'm the destination development specialist for the county.
anyway, we discussed a few other things, but the pickleball court come up. They have been evidently reached out to people, planned and designed. We talked about various locations. One of them included part of Kathy Globe Park. Anyway, I told her that she needed to present this to the council. I think, what was your total dollar figure?
527,707,000.
And that's for how many courts?
6 courts, possibly 8
Fully enclosed building.
with cement.
Pardon?
and,
Cement courts.
Insulation. It doesn't include the courts. It's just the building, the structure, the building structure and the cement.
Could you say the total again, Cindy?
527,707.
And is it an all season? I mean, would it have lighting and heating? And so there would be a facility available all year long?
Yes.
It would be included, yes, the lighting was not included in that quote I brought.
So was there any electrical included in that? Well, okay.
So
So no
lighting and HVAC too, that we would have to add HVAC and lighting to the total.
And the courts.
And the courts, finishing the courts. What's the square footage on the building?
80 by 150.
And a steel building or pole building or
It's kind of a pole building. That construction is who I got the quote from, and they've done a lot of buildings around here and
So it was just a bare structure then?
with the cement,
No insulation,
ceilings insulated.
ceilings insulated. That would
It
be
is
fine.
insulated?
The ceiling only.
And the gables, but I wasn't quite sure what that was.
And
And Cindy Luce,
Yeah.
did you get an idea of, I know how we've got a significant amount of money available in Visit Carbon County, grant money available for development and some good logos that we can basically shine a light on that side of the tourism. Is there money available that could be?
Yes, there's
Access?
always pots of money for development, but our approach would be to do court naming. And
Sponsorship?
yeah, and I already have commitment from one person that's in court after me, I'm in. So, I've also approached some other businesses and the feedback is good. Help get it built.
And I assume when you talk to some of the folks in Encampment Riverside, we've got a big following down there as well, and they would come over for tournaments and regular
Yes.
classes.
Miss Ken Rollins and Sinclair now has pickleball in
Mhm.
their gym. So, everybody wants to come and do tournaments.
Laramie, Casper has a huge football facility and they're doing state competitions between the cities. So
Do we have a projected idea of what maintenance costs would be on it?
Give it to you. Yes. We've come prepared. Bev, I'll hand this down to you, but basically what I did was a chat GPT search that I just typed in maintaining indoor pickleball facility with 6 courts in Wyoming. And it came back with monthly costs, annual costs. things that'll be one-time costs like initial equipment purchase and a booking system, so you can have people sign up for courts. The estimates are here along with wage, for facility manager, staff, and front desk administration. So I'll pass it to you. You pass it around. These are just ballpark figures.
So are we looking at, does your association have, do you have like a 501c3? So, okay, so you can pursue grants for this and it's Good Time Pickleball Association?
Yes,
And you have gotten your
yes.
classification, the 501c3? So
Did you get it in May?
Yes. Approximately. Have to
Okay.
look the data.
My question is, what are you asking from us?
We're asking to fundraise to build the structure, but the land is the thing that
So you're-
prevents us.
You're asking about the land?
That's it. You know,
That's it.
We
What
have-
about maintenance costs? Are you looking at taking care of your own maintenance costs? Or is that something that you will come back to the town for, like electric, heating, stuff like that?
everything is negotiable, but it would be nice if this was a partnership between the two of
Okay.
us. So I would hope that maybe you would help out with a few of the maintenance costs and perhaps help us with staff.
yeah, I mean, I love the idea and I think that we would have a lot of people, I mean, we know this national sport is just huge and it's all ages and it's a great opportunity, keeps us through
What's that?
the winter. It's a lot of fun, it's easy to, and it's low maintenance, but I think that it would be cool to see a full business plan, Mark, you know, like really written up, including not just the building, but I mean, because I guess on this size of building, the HVAC, all of the electrical, the finishing, we might double that amount. So you might look at all in a little under $1 million of an investment. And I don't know,
Probably.
roughly, right?
That's what it looks to me like.
So then
Yeah,
you
the whole
think-
thing's Not here.
Staffing, and if you decided you wanted to set up a membership program, so people would pay so that you're covering some of that expense for maintenance. I think a full business plan would be worth looking over, all those details. And then we talk about, you know, we've done those agreements like Valley Village where we exchange that responsibility, transfer that responsibility of the land and the ownership to as a rental or a purchase, that kind of thing. But I'm all in for pursuing it. I mean, I think it's a great idea.
Like Cassie Grove.
Yeah, I think that's a great location too.
Could we?
Are we talking about
Telling people?
which corner
So we
or
can put that into our plan as that is the place that we're.
would it take the place of existing?
No, I don't know if you can build on a greenway that's designated. Seems like I've heard something about that before, once it's designated a park or a greenway. And I could be wrong,
Is it just as?
so we need to even see if that would be a possibility up there.
There's some, I don't know if there's some land statute, like I don't know, but it's not zoned, there's no green space zoning designation on it right now, it's wrapped to the same stuff as the adjacent, so, but without.
But with it being a memorial park, wouldn't that be? I think that's what he's getting at,
We're
maybe.
gonna have to look it up.
We just need to make sure before we start going that direction, whether we gotta go a different direction. You know, to see what your possibilities are,
Okay,
so.
okay.
You know,
Yeah. Some of the considerations are gonna be like parking and things like that, so
Mhm.
knowing where we can do it. We have the what and we have the how. We just need to know the where.
Yeah,
well, and before you can move really a long way forward and start asking for money, you gotta have the land.
Mhm.
So,
and a business plan.
A business plan.
Yeah, that all
For
is-
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not, yeah, we plan to do a business.
Well, how's this sound? I think the council's very open if the council's in favor of this. And I don't think we need to pass any motions on it or anything, but you guys go back and work on your business plan.
Okay.
And we'll work on the land part and see if it is legal.
Mhm.
I mean, because there is, honestly, I think it's a pretty good location. I'm guessing approximately a half to 2/3 of that park is. It's just grass. So maybe that. You know, and to go into that, that's been there a lot longer than I've lived here. It may be something that we want to have a public hearing on to hear what some of the public thinks about it.
Absolutely.
And how would the parking be if you did have some type of a tournament? I mean, would we have to develop part of the park for parking?
Or what?
Like, if for parking, if you had a tournament that you had, how many people would you estimate would show up to a tournament?
Like 50 to 100
50 to 100? Okay, so
families.
50 vehicles.
25
probably,
to
down there.
50 vehicles.
You know, between the parking just all the way around. the
I know,
park.
just around the neighborhood.
And I'm sure that, you know, the dentist office, but I mean, that is a concern. That's something we'd have to address too.
We would, because right now we play Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 a.m. to noon down at the gym. Once you open this up to be available in the evenings for people that get off work, for teachers after school, you're gonna have a lot more use. So we have to address parking.
How many members do you have?
Oh, what do we have, like 25?
Approximately 25 that play off and on 3 days a week. And then now we've designated 2 nights a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, so the school teachers and people that are working can play after work. And we're on the schedule for Tuesdays and Thursday nights, 6 to 8,
Okay,
as long as it doesn't conflict with the school event.
correct. Yeah, they always trump everybody out.
Right.
What about encampment? How many members do they have? Any idea?
Probably close to 60.
About 14, yeah.
Yeah, close to 20. I
So
think.
there is some interest in the valley.
Oh, yeah.
Rollins has over 20 that are playing over there. Played with them a couple weeks ago.
Right, by the gym, by the school.
Say it again.
In the evenings when I'm over there, I see 30, 40 people over there playing outside at that BOCES outdoor.
Well,
It is big and it is growing. Pickler is a company that builds pickleball courts and they built, I believe, 35 between Denver and Cheyenne this summer.
let's do it that way. You guys work on your end, we'll work on our end, and we'll, whenever you think you're ready to meet with us again, or we're ready to meet with you, we'll get you on the agenda. Sounds pretty promising, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Okay. Any council comments?
Cool. That's cool.
Oh, yeah, sounds good. We'll see where it goes. Yes, sir.
I think it's a great idea, that kind of activity. But parking is a major thing. They've done over on the corner there at Third and Hughes, excellent work they've done on those ball fields. But parking is damn near zero. Right now, when I left, it was bumper to bumper cars because they park around the ball fields. There is some land back there that I think they're going to develop into parking further back. But parking, so Kathy Glode Park, I would question that unless you're going to shrink the park. It doesn't matter to me where, it's parking is the big deal. Because your 25, 50 cars come over there and look at right now tonight at what it looks like as the people are playing softball.
Thank you for your input. Any other discussion on that? Okay, we'll move on to reports, town hall. And it looks like we have Troy. You wanna with the wild class? We talked, Troy come in and talked to me once before, and I talked to him again up at Wham. And thanks, ladies.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Troy.
Mr. Mayor.
Sure, please.
Thank you.
Go right ahead.
Bet. Good evening, everyone. I'm Troy Hunsucker. I represent Wyoming Class. As the mayor said, I've spoken with him previous. Spoke with him in Wham and Pinedale, also spoke with Karina. Wyoming Class is a local government investment pool. That means is we pool money together from local governments throughout the state of Wyoming, and then we buy short-term investments inside of it, generate a higher return or a higher yield for you that you might get otherwise. We're currently paying 5.27%. The pool offers daily liquidity to you. That means you can put money in today, take it out tomorrow. It's a very safe investment that is rated AAA-M by Standard & Poor's and regulated by the Securities Exchange Commission, also registered through the Secretary of State's office. I've personally been working with local governments, doing investments for them since 2007, where I specialize in buying longer-term bonds and CDs. We started Wyoming Class in 2020. And in this 4-year period now, we actually work with all 23 counties in the state of Wyoming, several municipalities, joint powers boards, airports, parks and recs districts, libraries, cemetery districts, so forth. So the conversation here has been about might be an opportunity for the town of Saratoga to put some of the money there to generate a little bit higher return for the town. Give you an idea of kind of the structure of Wyoming Class. It is managed by an investment firm out of Denver, which are business partners of mine. They specialize in managing local government investment pools in 15 states, to the tune of $90 billion, just under 8,000 local governments as participants. The partners that have been doing that for over 40 years, and that time not a single taxpayer dollar has ever been lost. Needless to say, the expertise that they bring to doing this type of investment machine or investment vehicle it's cream of the crop. Wyoming Class is overseen by a board of trustees as well that include 5 government officials from around the state. We have a county commissioner as the chairman of the board from Johnson County. We have county treasurer, Teton County treasurer is on our board. In the city of Rock Springs, we have the director of administrative services, as well as the manager of the airport over there. And then the finance director in the city of Gillette oversees is our 5th member of the board. So the board of trustees is responsible to make sure that we stay within the guidelines of what we're permitted to do and don't do anything that we're prohibited from doing via Wyoming statute. Lastly, I would like to add that we do have a legal counsel. Pat Crank, the former attorney general for the state, is our legal counsel. So that's kind of a 30,000-foot overview of what it is. Like I said, I've had deeper conversations with the mayor, so I'm welcome to open to answer any questions you might have.
I was just looking at July, so July averaged 5.28. Roughly is that for the entire month?
Yeah, and we're, as of this morning, we're at 5.27.
Okay. Like what was your 7-day yield coming into this week?
Probably 5.27, 5.28.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been pretty consistent. I think you could, on our website is wyomingclass.com. It does show a historical. And I looked at the trend line. It's been relatively flat here the last couple months, despite everything that's been going on in the economic world.
So, ladies, do you have a couple of questions about this? Did we question someone else at one time?
Yeah, we figured it out
Maybe it'll work.
inside of this all.
Okay.
Did you say that you can, if we chose to put money in like a CD, do you offer stuff like that as well? To
Yeah.
pay up at a higher interest rate?
Yeah, so I actually have a second business that's similar to Wyoming Class, but we can purchase long-term bonds and CDs as well. Like I said, I've been doing that since 2007. This is relatively new, but this is a little different animal. We felt the need 2018, 2019 to provide some type of other investment vehicle for local governments up here. Definitely had some requests from current clients that, hey, can you offer some type of cash account? And being that I've been in the industry long enough, I approached Public Trust Advisors, the investment management firm in Denver, and said, hey, let's launch this pool up in Wyoming. So we put it together in fall of 19, and during the Wham back in March of 2020 in the County Commissioners Conference in conjunction with the legislature, we began to make a splash to announce we were doing this. Subsequently, COVID hit and interest rates went to zero. So launched this in a 0% interest rate environment, but pressed on, and it's obviously now paid off. But even in the 0% interest rate environment, we have been the highest yielding AAA pool in the state of Wyoming since inception.
Okay. Talk to me how, and I don't want the names of how many communities are involved with you guys?
Roughly 100.
Are they?
Mhm.
And do you have a best practice defined from other communities where they can do a transfer of funds without penalties or
Oh, yes.
issues with legalities and things for funds that we have currently?
Yeah, so that opens up some good questions. So, and I get these questions a lot. So there's no minimum amount, there's no maximum, and there are no fees. So the yield that we display every day is the net yield to you. Obviously, we do charge a fee that is disclosed in our documents on the website. That fee is approved by the Board of Trustees, the government officials, obviously, that oversee this. In terms of competitiveness, we are the lowest yielding, the lowest fee pool in the state as well, which helps afford us the highest yield also.
The fee dependent on the investment or
It's a
percentage?
It's a flat fee, yeah. Yeah, we're authorized to go up basis points. During COVID, when we were in the 0% interest rate, we waived fees for the first 2.5 years or so. So I was actually doing this as a volunteer. In terms of logistics, we have a registration packet. Rena would fill out. We like 2 signatures on it. We like it for security purposes. So we're doing what's called a dual factor authentication now. And then anytime money is moved, we like to have a second person authorizing that. You can do it all electronically on your computers here at the town hall. Links to a bank, and you can move money back and forth. Again, it offers daily liquidity. So we have participants that will accumulate cash maybe over a couple months period or maybe the month. And then when they need to make payroll, they have money to make payroll to pay others. So money is coming and going every day. And then we offer what's called peer-to-peer participation. And so, for instance, like Lindsay West, the county treasurer, if she needs to make distributions to the town of Saratoga, she from her Wyoming class account can direct funds right into your Wyoming class account as well. So it kind of helps streamline that process. There are security provisions put in place where you can't access her account and she can't do that with yours. But we know it's something that we offer, know that counties make distributions to other entities. So at the request of the county treasurer, we can set that up and do distributions that way. Sweetwater County is one that's actually doing that quite actively. He does several of them.
Do you know offhand if you have communities or municipalities that would be willing to do some Q&A with us if we had a meeting with them and just kind of ask what their common practice is or just get some thoughts and ideas?
Yeah, I'd be happy to provide references. I believe you've got some, I've shared some. Again, I said all 23 counties, so certainly feel free to call Lindsay at any time. In this part of the state, Rock Springs, Green River, Rollins is not quite on board yet. City of Cheyenne, Evanston, Mountain View. They're talking about pickleball courts. I thought of Opal because Opal's got a pickleball court now. So they're a participant. So yeah, we've got quite a few all over the state. And I know you guys are involved with WHAMCAT. So I go to WHAM. We're business partners with WHAMCAT as well. I'm actually teaching a class at WHAMCAT next month. So there's, active group of clerks and treasurers in WHAMCAT. Certainly feel free to reach out to any of them. Upton, Mountain View, Buffalo.
I'm more interested in just hearing how they approach it for implementing this type of program, what kind of community input they gather or on, what level they make this decision to spend or invest the community's money, right? So I think that our community would want to be involved in those conversations. So I'm just interested in how they gather that.
Well, a lot of the money we have invested now is like the impact funds, the 6 penny.
And it's static, it stays delegated, it's only designated for expenditures on certain.
Yeah.
thing. So I'm just interested to see how it's like a transfer of account, right? A transfer of interest or investment.
And typically what the standard is, kind of like the exercise we're going through this evening, we come up publicly, we might do it in a work session, then later an actual council session.
Sure.
So, yeah, and then you vote on, there's a resolution inside our registration packet. We have a sample resolution. You can use yours if you'd like, doesn't matter. Then that makes it kind of a more formal binding, at least. Option.
Something like that, if anything like paperwork that you provide, that would definitely go straight to our attorney first.
Yep, you bet.
Before we can do any type of resolution on something like that. This is something that we may be interested in. Been approached by another company with the state too. And we haven't heard from them direct yet, just via emails and word of mouth. So,
I probably know who they are.
you probably do.
have a good relationship
What
with
is
them,
there,
actually.
3 or 4 of them?
There's actually 2 of us in the private sector. There's only 2 in the state. The state treasurer offers a fund as well. It's similar, WildStar. That is not an apples to apples comparison. It's more like an apples and oranges.
Correct.
Myself and the other competing firm, we follow a very fine set of rules that allows us both to maintain a AAA rating. Where the state treasurer's office funds do not get that AAA rating. Reason is, it's not meant to disparage, it's just, but these are the logistics and mechanics of it. But the state treasurer's office via the legislature can do investments that we can't. If we were to do those, and we would lose our AAA rating. So I do share that in terms of safety. We follow best practices put out by the Government Finance Officers Association. And they say that the 3 most important things when investing in public funds are safety, liquidity, and yield in that order, right? So at this level, we all tend to focus on the yield, then liquidity, and then safety kind of becomes a secondary or third thought, but that really should be the first one. So that we take that AAA rating very serious. In terms of safety, I like to say that this is like the gold standard of safety where public funds can go inside the state. I'll use this as an example. I do this sometimes. We have a credit research team in Denver that is composed of 5 CFAs, which are chartered financial analysts, guys that are way smarter than me. And what they do is they pour over all the certain types of investments that we're buying, and they analyze them very in-depth levels. And then as we meet with our board throughout the year, they present a list of investments that are approved, pending, or investments that we're kicking off of our platform to invest. And then the board sees this. So you guys might recall that back in March of last year, Silicon Valley Bank, Silvergate, First Republic, some of those banks, right, had a run and they went belly up. Credit Suisse was one of those. So that was in March of last year, carried on into April. Go back another year, back to the summer of 2022, our credit research team identified Credit Suisse as a bank that had some pending financial issues coming up. So in our July meeting, they presented to the board in July of 2022 and said, we are taking Credit Suisse off of the approved list. Then you go to April of 2023, and they ultimately filed bankruptcy. The Swiss government stepped in and kept them solvent, but our research team identified issues with them 8-9 months prior to, right? So that's the kind of in-depth stuff that's really getting into the weeds, but we do to make sure that the taxpayer dollars are safe. Conversely, and again, this is public information because it's out there. During that same time, the state treasurer's office in WildStar did own about $4.5 million of Credit Suisse as they went through that bankruptcy. So our team identified it months in advance. State treasurer then still held on to that. Now, thankfully for the participants, they didn't lose money because the Swiss government bailed them out. But had they not done that, it could have been a different story. So like I said, safety, liquidity, yield, that's our priority. And I'm very confident in saying that we're a very safe investment for taxpayer dollars.
Any questions?
No.
What I would like to do is if council's in agreement, thank you for coming over. Let us talk about this amongst ourselves. Do a little more research and maybe sit down and have a workshop here after, we could call anything we have a workshop, it has to be an open
Yep,
meeting.
yep.
So we have to get advertised, rather than try to make a decision tonight. That's what I would prefer, plus it will, and I have been contacted by this other company.
Mhm.
And they need a chance to share their spiel too, to
Sure.
be fair. And, we could go from there.
Yeah, you bet. I'm happy to do a work session with you and then we can answer, go into more detail, whatever.
Okay?
Certainly, and I understand the public's invited, so that.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, this is what I do. I've done it many times, so
Okay.
no problem.
Is that in agreement with the council?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Well, thank you very much.
You bet. And then I will forward some more references to you and then you can distribute to the council members if you like. And then feel free to reach out to any of the other clerks, treasurers. I'd recommend in terms of answering questions, that's probably who you want to talk to. The council members kind of approve it and then it becomes a clerk treasurer function. So.
It's easy to say. They know what's going on and we don't.
So,
So,
and my contact info is on there, so you guys feel free to reach out to me if any questions.
right. Thank you.
Well,
Thanks
thanks much. I appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
for coming by.
Bet.
Okay, we'll move on. The next item on the agenda, the Rollins National Bank account. We pretty much covered that before we paid the bills. Are there any additional questions anybody thought of or anything?
No?
Okay, we'll move on to the police department. Mike?
Evening, how are you tonight?
Good.
Had a couple preliminary things as usual. We'll talk about call for service. Since last council meeting, we have ran 308 calls for service through dispatch. There's been a total of 27 citations and warnings for various things from property or excuse me, traffic through some other items that we've had 2 violations of other law. Got just to update you on a couple of things too. I think probably a lot of you may have seen all the extra trucks and equipment, fire trucks and cop cars and stuff out here moving around. Actually, Comtech is here doing radio work. They're installing some radios for both the fire department and the police department. These are radios that were purchased probably a little over a year and a half ago, maybe even pushing 2 years now too. So there was a tremendous backlog, as we've all talked about, with different things. So we finally just bought and paid for. So we don't have to do any expenditures on that. We're actually just getting everything installed right now. There may be some other things that may come up because of this. We've actually ran into some things with programming and things like that that we're having to do as well. So, and that brought up, we had talked about the last 23 SHSP grant that was approved, $45,000 and some change. That, because of what we're doing right now, may change the scope of that project. It will still, if we'll get approval, we obviously can't spend any of that money. It's all been approved and all that stuff, but we can't spend any of that money on anything other than what was already approved, not just by the council, but by Homeland Security as well for that grant. Now, this will still cover the same job, but the scope of it has changed. We're probably going to have to do some different equipment and maybe even the whole thing. They're working on quotes right now. But we probably will not be using the equipment that was originally quoted out in that SHSP grant. I'm under the understanding that Homeland, the state has been very good to work with when we change. Once I get the quote, I will get a hold of Daryl Erickson, who maintains that program. We'll talk with him about what we may need to do to change it. Money wise, which we should be maybe about the same amount of money, maybe just a little bit less. But we'll go through all those approvals. So we won't be spending that money until you're aware, but just to let you know, that project's going to change it. Let's see, Power Phone. This is something else that's already been bought and paid for. It was supposed to be here today. We didn't know the radio guys were going to be here today, so I'm a little bit glad Power Phone didn't show up as well, or I'd been spread really thin. But they're ready to start. We've been doing some preliminary things in order to get this CAD interface between 911 and our recording system or reporting system done. So we'll be working with them over the next little bit, laying the groundwork And I'll keep you updated as when we get to really flip the switch and start using it. It's a great investment. That was one that we'd gone in with the city of Rollins and Carbon County in order to purchase. The other things that I had listed on the agenda was the WEAP program, which is the Wyoming Employee Assistance Program. We talked about this a little earlier in the year too. This is also a program that offers mental health to the first responders. When I originally started talking to Dr. Post with the YEAP, we were really just looking at the police department. The cost was going to be about $3,000 a year. In talking to him, we've discovered that they are willing to put more people under that umbrella. So that will also include the $3,000 a year would also include the first responders with the fire department as well, if they want to do that as well. One of the things this does, mental health, it's anonymous up front. I won't know about it. They'll do their own thing. And if it'll be 3 sessions a year will be paid for with this money. If it comes to the fact that the employee needs more treatment or more sessions, then they can either work out a payment program or payment with them, or our insurance may kick in at that point as well. The contract is actually, I sent it to Kylie. I haven't heard back, but I just got it late Friday. I sent it to her. So she's got it. They run by the fiscal year as well. So if approved, it would be $2,500 basically for this year. So I would like to ask to have it approved contingent on Kylie approving the contract, and then we can get the contract signed.
Questions? Do you have a motion to go ahead and approve this employee assistant program?
And this was
Regional
budgeted.
help?
It is in the budget. It was.
I'll move to approve the Wyoming Employee Assistance Program.
Do I have a second to that?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And the last thing that I had for the council is we had put $1,600 into the budget for computers, mobile data terminals for the vehicles. The whole idea with that $1,600, they're about $2,000 a piece new. We did find a company that does refurbished ones. They wipe them and make sure they're all good. We do have one available through the company that we've been looking at for $599. And then we would have to pay for shipping. I don't know what the shipping would be, but I would ask the council to approve up to $700 for that purchase.
How many do you need?
I need 2, but there's only one available from the company right now.
And you have 1,600, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
I move to approve the purchase of the mobile data terminal.
Do I have a second?
200 also.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And that's all I had for the council. Unless you-
Not the ballistic vest.
Oh, the ballistic vest. Thank you. I skipped over. Another fortunate thing, I'm not asking for any money right now. This is something that was already paid for. I just wanted to update you and let you know that that's actually supposed to ship this week. So we should be getting those on. Those were 2 full-on ballistic sets, and then there were carriers so that the guys would all go into the gray with the carriers themselves, so they wouldn't be wearing gray and black shirts. It'd all be gray.
We approved those like months ago. Was that a long time?
It was, we took it out of the last budget. It was, I think, probably in May. The one thing about that is we had that money in the last year's investment. That as soon as that grant opens up where we can look for the reimbursement for this, we will submit it. It's not open right now. We weren't guaranteed the entire amount, but we hope to get some of that money back by a vest grant.
Any questions for the 2? Other than that, how's it going?
And your new hire?
We've got our new hire dispatcher started yesterday, actually. And so she's in training right now. We're a little shorthanded right now. I do have one officer that's on light duty based on a previous injury that's flared up. So I'm on light duty, and then I got a guy on vacation. So we're spread a little bit thin, but
Better
as-
coverage,
yeah,
less overtime.
yeah. Well, after we get through this,
Yeah.
light duty is gonna take a toll on that. And then we should be back. I keep saying that.
How long on light duty?
Right now, about a month, 4 weeks. Yeah, so that light duty, I'm keeping him working, but there's a lot of things in the office that we can be accomplished that have actually kind of got set aside a little bit, so keeping him busy. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mike. We'll move on to the fire department. Mr. Westring.
I really have to stand up there?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tom Westring. I'm the Assistant Chief of the Fire Department. I'm sure everybody's heard, we got an opportunity to purchase a ladder truck for the fire department. I know Creed and Pat have both been in contact with Karina and figured out how we're gonna pay for it. It's a 2000 model, 75-foot ladder pumper combo. I think $5,000 is the price tag on it.
$5,000?
$5,000.
The steel.
Yeah, it's,
Does it have an engine?
Does it have an engine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
we went through a presentation on it last week, the members of the department. It appears to be in really good condition for its age. I don't know a lot of specifics on it at this time. I know it's a 75-foot ladder, a 1,500 gallon per minute pumper.
How many miles on it?
Most of the equipment too.
As of right
My
now,
understanding-
we're unsure on that. There is gonna be some costs associated with equipping it. We discussed liquidating our oldest truck, which is approximately a 1980 truck. And a lot of that equipment could be moved over to the new ladder truck.
Where is it?
Miles and hours on it.
Rock Springs. is
So
up
the
there.
5,000 includes the mobilization over or?
That
transfer?
that does not include the mobilization. That'll probably be fill it up with fuel and somebody will
Drive it slow.
volunteer to
How
go.
many miles and hours on it?
Miles, how many miles on it?
Yeah, and hours.
I don't.
You don't know.
I don't recall. I heard the numbers last. It's not a huge number of hours.
Yeah.
And the picture that's been ridiculously maintained. I mean, coming from a paid fire department. And those guys aren't fighting fires, they're
Working on.
polishing trucks and maintaining.
So what are you guys doing then?
Yeah,
I'm kidding you.
it's hard to.
I can say that,
Working.
believe I was told this truck had just went through all its testing phase.
Yeah.
Just very recently, and with everything passed, it was in excellent shape. You know, that's the ladder and the pumps.
Ladder and pumps all passed the annual inspections, like in the last month, I believe.
Yeah.
Before we take possession or before we pick it up, Justin, his last name, he does our pump testing for our trucks. He's got a shop in Rock Springs. He's gonna run it in his shop. It's got a couple little, I understand, hydraulic deeps that he's gonna address on the ladder system. They weren't out of service issues or anything like that, but just so it's ready to go, show them here.
Yeah.
This,
Anything that sits though.
that's a diagnostic on it, you know, like any vehicle where you can, before you buy it, you can run a diagnostic. Does it have all of its maintenance documentation?
is.
Everything's been
It is,
kept up?
yes, everything's been kept up. Thank you.
I'm sure it comes with a pile of paperwork. where they-
It just seems cheap to me. I mean, that's cheaper than a
Well,
dirt bike.
you know, and I can't say that this is the reason, but Sweetwater County has a lot of money. They have a paid fire department. They probably are on a rotation where they're getting rid of a truck every 3 years, whether the truck needs to go or not. This would be my assumption is why.
Sweetwater? It's Sweetwater County?
Rock Springs.
Rock Springs. Oh, I thought
It's
Casper.
a
I thought you
city
said
of Rock
Casper.
Springs truck.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I thought I heard Casper. Sorry.
So, and 2 years ago, when we did have our last ISO audit, going through those results, we, with the number of sprinkler buildings we have in town and the higher structures at the mill, we are right on the brink of needing an elevated master stream. So, it's a huge. We're getting off cheap.
Yeah.
I think it's a win-win.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a new truck, but for the money and the shape that it's in.
Yeah. For $5,000, it's worth a chance.
Yeah.
It's basically free.
Have the money in the account.
Well, they have it in their budget.
It'll be a transfer of funds maybe, or is it, there's some
We'll just
equipment
check
in
out
there?
there.
Okay.
I would entertain a motion to go ahead and purchase this fire truck. For 5,000, I think we ought to go to 6 in case they have a few repairs that need to be taken care of. I would approve the amount of 6,000 is what I'd ask the
I was
motion.
getting it here, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll move to approve the purchase of up to $6,000 for this fire truck.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're very
Thank you,
welcome.
Tommy.
And also another update, the Rollins pumper truck. My understanding is we were the only ones that turned in an RFP showing interest in that truck. And I believe they were gonna present it tonight at their council meeting, so, I think, another win for the fire department for another.
Yeah.
Slowly, it's not new equipment, but it's newer than what we have and
Yeah.
slowly updating, so.
And, you know, I talked to the chief and I've talked to Creed, he's your financial officer, correct?
Yes.
They're really excited with these additions, our ISO rating will probably come down. So
I don't anticipate, it should come down, yes. Because we were short, our oldest pumper truck was downgraded. That was part of the reasoning in our ISO going down on the last audit, so.
I think the win-win all the way around.
Yep.
Any other questions for me?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Okay, we'll move on to recreation department, and I'll take the first part of it. Our pool manager has left. And what she had done is, Sandy had come in and talked to myself and Jen, who's kind of been overseeing this a little bit, helping Bub out. And she recommended putting Tyler Greensburg in as pool manager. And we sat down with him. I think he's very capable of handling it. Him and Sandy had the schedule worked out clear through the middle of August, well, until the kids go back to school. And then we can look at it, the activities then. So what I would like to do is the council to approve Tyler Greensburg as the pool manager for the remainder of the season at the pool manager wage, which would be an increase of $2 an hour for him. I believe, wasn't he making 16?
He's making
15, so it'd be a $3 an hour increase. Is there any discussion? I'm open for discussion.
No.
No. Motion?
I'll move to increase Tyler's wage to $18 an hour, and he finished out the season as pool manager.
I have a second to that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to Carbon County School District number 2. I will turn that over to Jen. She was contacted by these people.
Both schools, the Saratoga Elementary School and the Encampment School, are wanting to do swimming days. Saratoga will have the 2 days. Encampment 1. They're getting together on August 12th to determine the dates that will work for both schools. Both both teachers, teachers are gonna come from Saratoga Elementary School and help supervise, as well as we're gonna have, Emma, Vanette, Tyler, and then Sammy Anderson from Encampment is gonna get released to lifeguard those days for all three. We were gonna ask if the fees could get waived for the schools to do this, so they could just.
Are they doing, we did it a couple of years ago and it wasn't a full day. It was
No.
just like 2 hours. And are they doing second and third grade or K through 3
Yeah.
or so like grouping?
Encampment will come all together.
Yeah,
But Saratoga's will be split up into 2 days.
like third and fourth grade and second and third grade it was like an hour.
Hour to it.
Cause there's a lot of them
Yes.
and they don't swim.
So, and you guys have that worked out already, it sounds like, so.
Yeah.
Is there any discussion on waiving the fees for the school?
No.
Do I have a motion to go ahead and, approve the swim days once they get us a date for the Carbon County School District number 2, both in Camden and Saratoga, and charge the kids, there will be no charge.
We're still paying our lifeguards. our staff.
Well, yeah, we'll have to pay our lifeguards.
I would make some motion to.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the rec director. I'm gonna have Emery wrote us a letter. We go back, a while back, I asked for a rec, I approached people about being on the, a board to hire or to recommend a rec director position. The individuals were selected to participate on the board were individuals who have direct working relationship with the recreation director. The goal was to develop a board that had an understanding of what needed to succeed at this position. Over the last several weeks, the interview board accepted applications, held interviews with multiple candidates. Additional interviews were held with prospective candidates. After the process was completed, the interview board carefully deliberated. The deliberation took several days. The candidates' attributes and qualifications were thoroughly weighed. Ultimately, the deliberations ended in the board determining that it would make a recommendation for the hiring of a particular candidate. Carter Edwards was the candidate. The interview board believes Mr. Edwards, with his previous exposure to items such as a swimming pool, recreational facilities, and public works department, will be a supporting factor in the ability to step into this new role. The board concluded that the prior exposure, coupled with his knowledge, skill set, and enthusiasm for community engagement, will allow him to step into the role and experience success. To that, the interview board, as described earlier in this letter, makes an official recommendation to the governing body of the town of Saratoga that Carter Edwards be installed as the new rec director for the town of Saratoga. So we'll open that up for discussion.
Did you determine a salary?
Good, he started at the bottom. Step 1 on the scale is 2475, that's 28. Right, 28 is the annual years, yeah. Hours per year.
Full time, benefits,
5140.
starting when?
In a couple weeks.
Yeah, he'll have to give 2 weeks. Unless his boss tells him you're done. But, yeah. Discussion?
Nope.
No. He's a very nice guy. I mean,
Okay.
he's done a lot of volunteer stuff with the events and things, and he's got a lot of good energy.
Well, once he gets his feet just a little bit wet, you know, we do have money for an assistant. And he's coming into a very busy time of year with school getting back started. You know, you're gonna have flag football. I don't know if they'll try to run a quick little soccer thing with it. I don't know. But then, I mean, we know what it goes from there. Goes right into the, you know, to volleyball, basketball, all the people using that open gyms
School
and
sports.
so it's gonna get busy really fast. The chair would entertain a motion to go ahead and hire Carter Edwards at the rate of 24. 25 or 51, what?
51,480.
I'll make a motion to hire Carter Edwards.
Full-time, 51,480.
What benefits?
Plus benefits.
Mike, you want to add that into your motion?
Yeah. But at the, what was that, 24
51,480.
Okay.
Salary, 51.
plus benefits?
Plus benefits.
Yeah.
Time.
Yep. I'd make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Could I
We
add
will-
one thing to recreation and see if we could do this? Water aerobics. We've been offering Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes. Friday, we have hit our max, or so far at 19 people. That's a lot in that pool. That's good. So we offer the classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings and Tuesday, Thursday evenings in past years, but this season we've only done Tuesday evenings. But in the past, although we were closed for open swim on Tuesdays, we still offered the class Tuesday evenings. And we have a lot of ladies that would like to come. I say ladies because it's mainly ladies asking. They come after work. So I did ask for Tyler and Jane and Cindy's input on whether they could cover offering Thursday evening classes 6 to 7 just for this month. So it would be 4 classes for the month of August till we close, and they've got coverage. So I'm just asking if it's a change in our schedule. And that means we would we would have a person working an extra hour as the instructor. So that third party are contractors. And then we would staff it for it's usually 2 hours for someone to come in 30 minutes early and stay after to clean up. So because we're changing the schedule slightly, I just want us to be clear on it, and then we could advertise and spread the word just at the pool. And I think we've get quite a few involved.
This is the pool manager was good with it?
Yeah, Tyler, Jane, and Cindy would be the folks instructing and covering the lifeguard position, and they were all okay with it.
You know what? If he's good with it, did he mention that to you? If he's good with it, I see no problem in it. I mean, he is running the pool. He is the adult running the pool. If he's good with that and he can schedule the coverage, I'm 100% good with it.
Cool. Okay, so because it's an amendment in our schedule, I just thought it'd be worthwhile for us to make a motion to make this change to add, I'll make that motion to add Thursday night class, water aerobics, just for the month of August, 4 Thursdays.
Do I have a second to that one?
I'm second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And one more.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Jen, for keeping the communication up for everybody, letting us know when the pool's open. Everybody's really happy with the hours and the facility, and they appreciate your keeping us informed.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Department of Public Works.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello, Emery. How are you, buddy?
Good, Mike, how are you?
I'm well also.
Oh, good, good. Lots of exciting stuff going on. So right off the bat, this pay app for Rocky Mountain Sand and Gravel, we're kind of cresting over that 65% mark. Craig went over the payout. I'm good with it. Earl is. Craig's been pretty tight on quantities as far as making sure we're paying for what is being done. His meticulousness has been very helpful. So we need to, if we can, pay this. So obviously, once we get everything straightened out, we'll cut the check. And we have actually got reimbursement already from the ARPA grant on this project for one of our bigger payouts. So that's pretty sweet.
Any questions on this payout?
You say we're 65% complete on work?
On certain items, yeah, well, as a project overhaul, that's kind of where I would call it.
Showing 58 here, so.
Yeah, I'm saying that's
The
kind of where
billing
I,
portion.
yeah, the
Okay,
billing
so
portion.
The billing portion
It's
is
paid, it's
58.
58% of the funds compared to what we paid compared to what is left. We've paid 58%.
Okay, that's, yeah, I was just.
Yeah. I'm thinking like timeline wise,
Mhm.
65% for the project.
Yeah, I'm just thinking installed quantities.
Very meticulous.
Yes, thank you. Do we have a projected completion date?
We're thinking of hopefully have all the water line and stuff in here towards the end of the month and chip seal there shortly thereafter. All of the tricky parts, I guess, are done as far as we know, unless there's something behind Gary's over there that.
Yeah, you left dirt pile.
No. Give him a shovel.
I don't know how to run one of them.
It's the hydraulic kind.
Okay, I'll make a motion to pay the invoice for Rocky Mountain Sand and Gravel, the pay app 3 for 407-401-80.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah.
Okay, just a few things, running through the water, we kind of talked about the River Street project. When we get all that done with the paving and everything patched in, we will chip seal that. That'll look good when we get that done. As soon as we know a timeline on when we think that part will get done, I'll share that with you guys. There's a patch over there going into Family Dollar, like the one exit off of the side street there. That is real bad. We are going to look at fixing that. We think there's a water service line down there that's leaking. So we'll be digging that up, fixing that leak before then we're gonna try and pave that in and fix that. That's going into the.
Did you get that?
It's actually somebody probably trying to sell me a mortgage. Lead service line inventory is another big one. You guys have probably all got your survey in the mail. If you have so please fill that out. And if you need some help, just give me a call and we've got some people that we can come help you identify what your water line is. So we have got quite a few of those cards back. So I appreciate everyone who's filled those out, do it online. That'll be due in October. EA has took off what I was working on and continued with it. And they pretty much got the majority of that inventory done, which.
Saved you some time.
I can't think of a good adjective to describe how helpful that is, but it's been real wonderful. Sewer, we're working on an application for that SRF funding I brought up at the last meeting. There with the state for a bigger sewer project. Lift station design is ongoing for the airport lift station. As soon as we get elevations figured out and pumping needs in depth, we can get a lift station picked out and hopefully get one ordered. They're about 6 weeks out, depending on the manufacturer.
That's something you're gonna try and do this year yet?
And if it doesn't freeze real hard, I would like to get it done.
What's the distance it's gotta go?
It's 800 something, I think. There's a ways, but it's all flat for the most part once we get up.
I got a laser that can tell you your depth, distance.
Well, I mean, as far as in relation to what's coming into the plant, how deep of a lift station we want to go.
Yeah.
See, they surveyed all that, so they got to put it all together. I'm just waiting for them to shoot me. Hey, we need two 2-horse pumps. That's what I'm waiting on is how big I don't want to order one on my own. I get 2 1-horse pumps and it don't work. That's what I'm waiting on there. But then we've been flushing a few manholes on the sewer side. Those are probably the bigger things. streets, mill and overlay as a part of that road project, looking towards the end of the month. We're staying in touch with Scotty on the scheduling there. On that, we'll be patching some more next week around town, finishing up his valley panel, hopefully pouring that here on Thursday. Trimming some trees, paint parking lot lines, Parks and Pool, we've been over there grading Never Forget Park. We got it, pretty roughed in, probably looking at getting somebody in there to fine grade it at some point. And then looking at getting the curb in, that would be, if we could do those two things this year, I think that would be, you know, a win. And we got, waiting for some parts to come in, we're gonna start working on the water tap. Because the water's gotta go all the way through the park to get up to where we're gonna put the bathroom, so we'd like to get the water line in, so that way we don't have to muck up the parking lot or the curb. So that's one thing we are gonna get knocked out. Fix some sprinklers around town, some dry spots. Big things for the park. Weed and pest, so far this year, we've done 2 larvicide aerial applications and 1 adulticide. We were planning on doing another adulticide aerial, but after trapping and what our numbers look like in and around town, there's probably not really right at this point in time, but cost the benefit to doing another one overhead. We dipped for larvae kind of around town. There wasn't hardly any. The numbers and traps, we haven't got a ton. So we'll probably just continue to spray, out of pickups with the ULB with the foggers around town. Okay, that's kind of public works. Questions?
Yes, you may.
I saw the aerial spraying in the middle of the day, like at noon. I thought that we were spraying late in the day so that the bees had gone home and gone to bed.
So the larvicide that you saw getting sprayed in the late morning there, probably like 11:30ish, that does not harm the bees. That's a residual product that goes into any standing water or any mosquito habitat and actually shuts down the larvae that are emerging. So the next mosquito population doesn't follow into that life cycle where they actually become a mosquito. It doesn't affect the bees.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, any questions for Emery on that? I want to move on to anything from the Joint Powers Board?
No, we haven't had another meeting. Ordinances kind of is all we did on the last one, but we have a meeting next week, so some things go around.
Anything on the planning and commission?
Yeah, so we had at the last meeting, we had the stamp plan. The draft was presented to Planning and Zoning Commission. They went through everything. They had some minor changes, additional information here, nothing real material compared to the plan that's been presented the whole time. But they did want to see it again one more time before they made any kind of motion of recommendation toward you guys. So next week, they're going to review that again. Also next week, we've got a zone change application from a guy up on the bar, so we'll have a public hearing for that. I've built an updated zoning map that includes all the changes that we've done in the last couple of years. It also includes a few things off the, like the green space that the master plan recommended. So they'll be reviewing that. We have the Title 17 rewrite for the subdivisions, doing that. And then public hearing for STRs here next week as well. So a little busy planning and zoning. Done 50 permits so far this year, and we're looking at about 11 housing units so far, including duplexes, plexes, et cetera. So pretty close to last year. It's kind of started off slow, but it's picking up. So that's good.
You said OV will be at planning zoning next week?
They're not going to be here this next week. I think they're going to send everything. They came last time, as far as I want to do everything over Zoom.
Okay.
Are they planning on coming to the next council meeting?
When they come and present it to the council, they'll be up here at that point. Okay.
Any questions for Emery on any of this?
Thanks, Emery.
You bet.
Thanks, Emery.
Okay, we'll move on to the Community Center Joint Powers Board.
Nothing to report. We haven't had a meeting since the last council meeting. Our next meeting is August 12th, 4:30. That's next Monday, 4:30 at the community center. Party on the Platte is coming up September 6th, bless you. So if you're interested, go ahead and get your tickets for Party on the Platte. Yep.
Thank you. Recreation Commission?
No, not much to report. Last night, their meeting consisted of them going through their bylaws, which they're not quite done with yet. And it sounds like they're done with those. That needs to go to the town attorney before we can approve any of that.
Yes, I would say.
They did get enough teams to do adult softball, which started tonight. They've got 4 teams. So next meeting is August 12th, or excuse me, September 2nd.
Thank you, sir. Nothing to report. The next meeting for the Saratoga Airport Advisory Board is August 12th at 3:30 PM here at the town hall. On the South Central Emergency Medical Service Board, the next meeting on it is August 19th at 6 PM at the Saratoga Ambulance Barn. Is there any new business to be brought before the town?
Do we need to approve their fourth quarter report or review anything?
You know, nobody's here to present it to us. Do you have a copy of it? Even, what is?
Yeah,
It's it.
there's talking points and a summary. I just didn't know what we were supposed to do with it.
Well, I don't either, you know, we used to get somebody to come in and report it.
Is it just for information or?
It's just a, this, our quarter report.
Guess there's nothing to do.
You know, you think if they wanted. I'd probably go to their next meeting and see if they can have somebody come in and give a report occasionally. Is there any new business to be brought before the town? I just want to, I have one quick item. I want to thank the interview boards for the rec department. Megan James, Emily Williams, Emery Penner, Darren Jennings, and Joe Elder. They gave up their time to sit down and do these interviews. They did a fantastic. They followed up with interviews, and I just want to sincerely thank them for what they did. Is there any other things to be brought before this council? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?